If this is your first time here, welcome to Daily EDH. Otherwise, welcome back. In first seat we have Shay on Sith's Harvest Hand. This deck aims to tax its opponents, and tax its opponents. In second seat we have Jarek on GWENUM Remorseless. This deck aims to swing its commander and turbo out with a super quick win. His opening hand contains a Mopool, Bloodstained Mire, Phyrexian Tower, Lightning Greaves, Death Cultist, Jeweled Amulet, and Lava Spark Boots. Then in third seat we have James on Aang at the Crossroad. This deck aims to get an Aang doubler, cast his commander, and combo out that way. His opening hand contains a Boseiju, Ancient Tomb, Worldly Tutor, Force of Will, Ephemerate, Flusterstorm, and Tropical Island. Then in fourth we have Max on Firelord Azula. This is just pretty much a Grixis pile with a pretty strong commander. His opening hand has a Peak, Offer You Can't Refuse, Prismatic Vista, City of Traders, Mana Confluence, and an Ad Nauseam. Before the game begins, in the comments below, put who you think's gonna win. Anyway, let's get into it. Shay starts the game off with the Birds of Paradise before casting it to Jarek. Jarek has a pretty big turn as he casts Lava Spark Boots, Mox Opal, Jeweled Amulet, and Death Cultist before passing the turn. James plays a Tropical Island as land for turn and enchants it with Utopia Sprawl. James then passes to Max. Max plays a land for turn and ships it to Shay. Shay plays a land for turn and taps 2 to cast her commander, Sith's Harvest Hand. Shay then passes the turn. Jarek untaps and plays a fetch land. He goes and gets a swamp. He uses a swamp to cast Dark Ritual. He then uses his Phyrexian Tower to sacrifice a creature and add 2 black. He then casts GWENUM. In response, James casts Force of Will and counters the GWENUM. Jarek then uses his mana to instead put a counter on Jeweled Amulet. Jarek, with his win attempt foiled, sadly passes the turn to James. James casts a Sylvan Tutor and gets a Guitar the Fearless to the top of his library before passing the turn to Max. Max plays a land for turn and again just chips it. Shay untaps, plays a land, and then casts Curse of Silence, triggering her commander to draw a card. The Curse of Silence names Aang. Shay then taps 3 and casts Satyr Enchanter before passing the turn to Jarek. Shay probably should have cast the Satyr Enchanter first to get an extra draw, but oh well. Jarek untaps and casts Basalt Thrall before passing the turn to James. James untaps and uses Boseiju Who Endures to destroy the enchantment that makes his commander cost 2 more. James then passes the turn. However, in James's end step, Max casts Peak, targeting James. With that on the stack, he holds priority and counters it with an Offer He Can't Refuse. Max makes 2 treasures and then goes to his turn. On Max's turn, he plays a City of Traders as land for turn. He then casts Snap, returning Jarek's Thrall to his hand. Max then casts Pyretic Ritual. He then uses his treasures and some of his floating mana to cast Ad Nauseam. James, however, responds and steals the spell with Commandeer. James goes all the way down to just 9 life, but has an easy win in hand. Max then casts a Talisman and passes the turn to Shay. Shay sees that she has 5 power on the board, so if she can just get 4 more, she can knock James out of the game. So she casts Kendrith Transformation, targeting her own Birds of Paradise. Sithis and Satyr Enchanter both trigger, and she draws 2 cards. She then casts Greater Amorasi and draws 2 more cards. She plays a land for turn, and with nothing that costs just white in her hand, she goes to combat and knocks James down to just 3 life before passing the turn to Jarek. Jarek could have recast his Thrall, equipped it with the boots that give haste, and hit James to 1. But instead, Jarek casts Candy Trail and Grim Monolith, setting up for a next turn win attempt, which will never happen because James is going to win before passing the turn. Now what happens is incredibly unfortunate as my camera fills up on storage. But what James does is he plays a whole bunch of fast mana. He casts his Sitara and then he casts Aang. This gets Aang 2 ETBs, which gets him a clone, 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 until he has infinite ETBs with Falador Guardian and Preston the Vanisher. He then ventures through the dungeon until all of us are dead. Congratulations, James, on the sick win. If you guys didn't like the content, leave it a thumbs down. However, if you're here, you probably liked it, so leave it a thumbs up and a subscribe. If you guys want to see more sick Aang wins and CEDH games, click here or here or here. I have tons of content, so check it out. Anyway, see you in the next one. Peace.